Okay, so preparing our report template for task 4. Now before we can look at our report template, we need to have a review and a going over of what's actually required from task 4. So just a quick read over task 4. Now that you have completed the instructional video, you must now create a report which details aspects not covered in the video. This report will be used alongside your instructional video to provide details on items which may not have been covered in the video. Your report is to be prepared using the Australian Hardware Report template, which I have open to the left, and follow the Style Guide Extract reports, which I also have open as well. The template is accessible from the Australian Hardware intranet, and Style Guide Extract is located in the Blackboard course. Your report must detail the following under section headings listed in bold. I'm just going to highlight these as we go through. So these are our section headings. I'm not going to read through all of them. We've gone through those in detail during lessons, and we will further go into detail, further detail during lessons, during upcoming lessons. So those are our section headings. Your report must include the following: cover sheet with logo, author and title, contents page with page numbers, introduction, why was this report created, sections as above, listings of further resources, header, footer, tables and images. I'm just going to highlight header and footer, tables and images. All header, footer, tables and images must be used or inserted as per the style guide. Alright, so the items that I've highlighted today are what we're going to prepare. They're what we're going to prepare within our report template. So all of these things here are going to be added to our report template so that it's ready for us to begin inserting information based on these section headings. So the very, very first thing we're going to do, open up your report template, and you'll notice that when you open your report template it says document 1. Document 1. This is because it's a template file and it opens up a new version, similar to if you open up a new document, a new blank document in Microsoft Word. So what we need to do the very first thing we need to do is save this document so that we don't lose it, so that any changes we make are not lost. We're going to save it as per the naming convention listed here in the folio. Draft report digital devices your initials .docx. So let's save it as that now. I'm just going to copy and paste. So if we could save our document, please. Just going to save it into my Project 1 folder. I'm just going to use my 3 initials because I've already got one saved. Alright, once we've saved our document, we're going to go over and we're going to start looking through the items that I've highlighted in the folio. So these are the items we're going to work on. We'll start off with the cover sheet because it's the first page in our document template. Cover sheet with logo, author and title. Well, we've already got the logo. Okay, the Australian Hardware logo is at the top and at the bottom. We just need to insert our document title and our author. So our document title, based on the name of the actual task, how to use, then you're going to add the name of your device. My device, which I've been using throughout my lessons, is the Sony Xperia Z3. How to use a Sony Xperia Z3, adding that in based on whatever digital device you are using, and then under that add by the author. Awesome. Now as we go through and complete each of the steps and each of these highlighted items, I'm going to use the strike through function just to cross them off so that I know that we've done them. So our cover sheet has been completed. Scrolling down to the next page. This is going to be our contents page. So I just want you to type in there for now the words contents page. Okay, I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm just going to type in the word contents page. As we scroll down, you'll see that we have a third page available to us. Okay, it's actually page number 2 because the second page you can see there is actually page 1. And on our third page here, we're going to list our section names. Okay, we're going to list our section names. So from the list of sections that we have here, we're going to put them in. The first one's going to be this introduction. Okay, so just typing, doesn't matter what font or anything appears, just typing in each of the sections. Introduction. I'm going to copy and paste because I've already got this open here. Introduction manual. Additional components. If you leave space or don't leave space, it's not an issue. We just need to put the names in, just the names. Further resources. That's the last one. Once I've done that, again, I'm going to go through and just cross out that I've added each of those. And then straight through. So I've added, and I can also cross out this one. Okay, so I've added each of those into my document. Okay, so it's from here where things get a little bit tricky. Okay, it's from here where things get a little bit tricky. We are going to create a table of or a contents page, a table of contents automatically. Microsoft Word is going to automatically do this for us. There's a few steps that we need to do or engage in to set this up so that it will happen. The section where you can actually find the settings or the place where the table of contents, the buttons that we need to press to get that, is in the References section under Table of Contents. And if you click on this, don't click on anything just yet, you'll notice that it says Automatic Table 1. So this will allow us, okay, or this will create an automatic table of contents for us, providing that we set up our document correctly. So, to set up our document ready for this, I'm just going to increase the size here because we need to look at this section in our Home tab called Styles. Styles. It's the styles here that link to the table of contents to actually create it automatically. Okay. Looking at here, we've got some that are already called AH, AHS, AHS, AHS. These are referring to Australian hardware. Unfortunately, these were set up in the template, but they do not work. They do not work to create the automatic table of contents. So I'd like you to, in your style section where these appear, to right click and delete them. Remove. And so if we could just remove any that have AH or AHS as in Australian hardware. Once you've removed those, you should just have a normal and then heading 1 and heading 2. And these are the main ones that we will refer to. Normal, heading 1, heading 2. Alright. We can see heading 1 and heading 2. We're going to make some changes to these. Oops, undo it, don't want to use it yet. We're going to make some changes, some modifications to these based on our style guides. This is where we're going to refer to our style guide. If I'll highlight all of my sections. Okay, just the text here. If I select heading 1, it automatically, it's actually gone also to heading 2. So undo that. Just delete this space. If I highlight this and then select heading 1, you'll notice that it makes some changes to the text, some formatting changes in terms of colour and font and those kind of things. These don't necessarily, okay, the settings that are within heading 1 and heading 2, and also normal, they don't necessarily reflect our style guide at the present moment. So we need to make changes to these based on our style guide. So I'm just going to undo that, so we don't want that like that just yet. So having a look at our style guide. We're going to just look at our font section here, section 2, font. It says the preferred font family for general use is Arial. Very important. Arial. Going to highlight that. The font used in the body of reports should be Arial Narrow size 12. Going to highlight that too. Headings should be in Arial Black, sized no smaller than 14. Going to highlight that as well. Single line spacing should be used with 0 spaces before and after lines. Single line spacing, 0 spacing before and after lines. Underlining should be used sparingly. We're not going to do any underlining at this present moment. Italics should be used for titles of books, films. We're not doing that at the moment. Bold should be used for emphasis. We're not emphasizing anything just yet. And headings are to be typed in sentence format with initial capital only, apart from proper nouns. So we'll refer to that. We will refer to that a little bit later on once we've actually completed these settings. So we need to, using these settings or these style requirements, we need to edit our heading 1, heading 2, and our normal style to reflect this. Now this way it will automatically format our text. So once you've done this once, you don't have to refer back and make changes. Okay, it will style and it will automatically style this. So I'm just going to drag that across. So I'm going to start off with our normal. Normal will be the text that you write in your body. So when you actually begin inserting information, this is going to be what appears in the body of your text. So if we right click on the style and select modify, from here we can change all the font and format. So you can currently see that normal is set to calibrate, size 10.5, and then it has some formatting, some line spacing formatting as well. Okay, also color as well. So for the body of our text we're going to use Arial Narrow size 12. So let's make the change to Arial Narrow size 12. It's not going to be bold, underlined, or italic, and it's going to definitely be black. Okay. There are some, it says here that it has line spacing of 1.1 and it has an 8-point after. So we need to change that because we don't want 0 spaces before and after, and we want single line spacing. To change that, format, paragraph, and line spacing to single, and this after here needs to be at 0. Press OK. With those changes made, I can press OK, and it's done, and that is ready to use to format our normal text, the body text in our report. Alright, with the normal text completed, we're going to go now and edit our headings 1 and heading 2. Now we need to utilise heading 1 and heading 2 in order to populate our table of contents automatically. If you do not use heading 1 and heading 2, your table of contents will not automatically be created and will not work. So we need to use heading 1 and heading 2. So let's start off by editing our heading 1, modify. Now headings, as per our style guide, are to be in Arial Black. Size no smaller than 14. Now heading 2 will be embedded underneath heading 1, so I'm going to use size 16, and we're going to use black, just black for now, okay, just black. And then you can see here in this text here that there's actually some line spacing and some before and after in a paragraph formatting. So we're going to edit that as well. So format paragraph, and it's got an 18 before. Just want to lower that down to 0 and single line spacing. Press OK, and then press OK again. So Arial black 16, automatic just normal black, and then again same paragraph formatting to line spacing before and after 0 and single line spacing. You'll notice that it changed in the actual styles, so it reflects what it looks like. I'll now make edits to heading 2 to reflect an embedded heading. So it's going to be exactly the same as heading 1, except for rather than be 16, it will be 14. Arial black, 14, automatic black, and then just changing my paragraph settings so that it's 0 before and after and still single line spacing. Okay. Now that we've set up our heading 1 and heading 2, we can actually change our section headings now to heading 1. Right, now you'll see that it's really, using those styles now, it's really easy. It's really easy to keep consistent formatting throughout your document. Because anytime you have a heading, you highlight it, you click heading 1, you know it's going to be the same font, the same size, the same line spacing, everything the same. Okay, so go through and do that now. Okay, so from here we can go back up now to our contents page. We're going to automatically insert the table of contents. You can actually delete where it says contents page. You can delete that out. Just turn it back to normal, so get rid of any heading that appeared there. From here, we now go into our references. We click on Table of Contents, and we select the automatic Table 1. And what you'll see appears is every single item that we had listed below, and the page that it is on. Now, as you insert information and those headings get moved down the page, you can click on your table and update the table so that those page numbers update. So you do not have to worry about changing any of these numbers, because it can automatically update those, because it knows where these headings are. Now, for some reason we've got an oddity here in that it's giving a blank reading for this line here, which is heading 1, which is somehow connected to introduction. Okay, no, not anymore. So it's a formatting issues. Why will this not? There we go. Okay, much better. Right, so you might have some just little difficult formatting difficulties there. Just got to play around with making sure that you get rid of any heading 1s or any extra lines. But you can see that automatically puts in all of your headings, all of your section headings, and the pages they're on. I'll just give you an example of how that can be updated. So I'm going to move some items onto the following page. Insert page break. So now these guys here are on page 3, and these last few guys are going to be on page 4. So on page 4, if I click on my table and select Update Table, you'll notice that the numbers will change. With the contents set up and all of our section headings ready to go, so underneath each of those you can, in the following weeks, refer to the portfolio and begin to add in your information now. We're going to look back at the style guide and refer to a couple of things that we haven't looked at yet. And that relates to header and footer. Now these are explicitly mentioned in the portfolio, and they're the last things on our list that I highlighted. header and footer. Okay. Some of you might be wondering what a header and footer is. It has nothing to do with your actual head or anybody's feet. In your in Word documents, you'll always see that in the margins, in the margins, there's an area at the bottom here that is in the grey area. Okay, and you notice in your template that there's already some things in there like page numbers and logos. So headers and footers are used to put in things like page numbers, file names, dates, those kind of things. And headers and footers transcribe and they go over pages and pages. Okay, so like your page numbers, they're going to appear on each page. So you only have to edit them once, okay, or there's different settings that you can use. This document is set up a little bit elaborately in terms of its headers and footers. So I'm just going to slowly go through the things that you need to insert into your header and into your footer. There are no headers and footers on the cover page. The cover page is a standalone page. We don't have to put anything in its headers or footers. We do, however, need to add into our header and footer for the contents page and all the preceding pages. Let's refer to the style guide extract now for exactly what we need to put into our headers and footers under section 3 and 4. In our header, we need to include a title in the header, formatted using heading 3, Arial black, size 14, color black. We also need to insert in the header the date created should also be in the header, as well as the pale blue logo top right. The logo is already inserted in the header. It actually appears down in the bottom corner, so we're not going to follow that instruction. Okay, we're just going to go with this, how it's inserted here. And in the footer, we need to include the file name, initials of the creator, and page number in the footer. Right. To get into our header or our footer, two ways to do that. We can either go into Insert, into the Insert tab, and there's Header and Footer. And if we click on either Header or Footer, we can go to Edit Header, okay, or Edit Footer, depending on which drop-down menu you select. Or we can double-click at the top of our page. Double-click, and it appears there. Okay, it opens up. To access, you'll see that down on the right-hand side, and then on the next page, on the left-hand side, this is how you actually edit these items. This, while it doesn't appear at the top of the page, these colours, this graphic, is in the header and the footer. So we're going to just use this graphic here and type the document title. I'm just going to copy and paste from the front page. I'm going to insert that there where it says type document title. So double click on the header. I can now click over here and actually edit this text. Just going to use the delete and the backspace button to get rid of all that, because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky when it's on the side. And then I'm going to just paste that in there. Okay. Paste that in there. As I scroll down to the next page, it has not changed the second page. So I'm going to do the same thing there. I'm just going to insert that document title. If I close the header and footer, you'll see now that the document title appears on each page. Okay, appears on each page as I scroll down. Referring to our style guide extract, we've included the title in the header. We also need to include the date created in the header. The date created. It's going to be Arial size 8 and in italics, and it will be black. To do this, we're not going to just simply type the date in there. Okay, we're not just going to type in the date. We're going to use what's called a field. Okay, a field. This is going to be an automatic insert. So based on the settings in the document, so this document will, because we saved it today, it's sort of going to already know what date it was created. So we're going to just automatically insert that. To do that, once we're in the header, we go to this section here called Quick Parts, and we select Field, Quick Parts, Field. From there, we've got a whole host of auto inserts that we can use in this list. Whole host, lots and lots of different things that can automatically be inserted. We don't have to go and find the information. We're just going to find the one that's called create date. So this was the date it was created. The date it was created. You can see then that we can select different formats for how it appears. Different formats for how it appears. I like the nice simple one, 16 March 2015. Nice and simple. Once you select that, you just press OK, and it automatically appears. Automatically appears. Because it's a field, we can also right-click and update the field if things change. Same too with our contents page that we're able to actually update. It needs to be, according to our style guide, it needs to be Arial size 8 and italic. So again, just highlight it. Be careful not to highlight the stuff on the side here, just highlighting that text. Arial, just normal Arial, size 8, and then italic. So it's nice and small. It's only very, very small. And I'm going to leave it aligned to the left-hand side. If I scroll down, you'll notice that on the second page that it doesn't appear. So I'm going to insert it here as well. Design, quick parts, field, create date. Make sure it's formatted exactly the same. Press OK. And then again, highlighting. Highlighting and changing to Arial, size 8, and italics. Alright, just to ensure consistency of how this looks, given the graphic on the left-hand side, I'm going to use the Tab key. So I put my cursor at the beginning of the 16 and press the Tab key on your keyboard to move it across. Okay, so I've tabbed it across. You'll see that it's ended up in the margin, so it's not aligned the same way as this one here. You'll see that 16 is aligned with the contents bit there. I would want that to be aligned in the same fashion where the 2015 finishes in line with this blue here. So to do that, I just drag across using the margin. Okay. And that way it's formatted in a similar way, just opposing. So while that graphic is on the right hand side, this graphic is on the left hand side, so it's just in reverse. Alright, so that is all we need to include for our header. That's all we need to include for our header. Looking now at the footer, having a look on the very first page, you'll notice that it already says document 1 here. This was what it was called when I first opened the document. This is the file name. This is already inserted. If I right click, because it's a field, I can update it. If I right click and select update, you'll notice that it already changes to the title that I saved my document as. So I've updated the document name on the first page. I'll need to do the same on the second page. It doesn't actually appear on the second page here. So I'm going to insert that field. So it doesn't appear on the second page. All I need to do is use Quick Parts and insert the file name. Quick Parts, field, and from the list find file name. There it is there. Select OK. We need to make sure that it's formatted correctly according to the style guide. Arial size 8 italics, just like our header. Again, be careful not to only to highlight the text, this text that you want to change. Arial size 8 and italics. I'll just check to make sure that at the top here it's the same. Arial size 8 italics, yeah. I don't like where this one sits. I'm just going to use the Tab key. No, undo. And I'm just going to push this across so that it lines up there. Just the same with where this lines up in the bottom, down the bottom. Okay, so they're both lining up the same. We already have page numbers. We've already got page numbers. The last thing we need to include is the author's initials. The author's initials. So I'm going to include the author's initial in the footer, but in the space on the right hand side on both pages. So the author's initials will appear down here, and it will appear on the first page here. So to do that, again, I just use the tab key, and it's going to tab across. Now unfortunately it's tabbed over here to where this logo is, and I'm just going to use the margin to pull it back. And again, I'm going to use a field from Quick Parts, and you've got author. Author, does it let us do the initials? I'll just go none. Author, that's okay. It's just going to come up with the actual full name. So I don't mind actually if we deviate from that style guide just a little bit to use the quick part, use the field. So I'll do the same on this side, on that second page. Tab across. Oops. It appears in the margin over here. I'm just going to drag it back so that it all aligns the same. Quick part, field, and insert author. From there, close my header and footer, and that report is ready to be used. That whole report is ready to be used. The contents page can automatically be updated. All of the text, all the names, header and footer have been inserted correctly. These sections, all you need to do is create a line underneath, press enter underneath each of them, and it automatically is ready to be used. Okay, the text is going to be the correct font in each section, and from there we just need to insert the information required for the from the portfolio. The last section that we need to we'll need to refer to in the style guide extract is when we insert a table. We do need to ensure we insert at least one table in this task 4, and images. And we've got to look at images as well because we do need to insert some images. So we will still need to refer back to that style guide extract when we're doing our tables. Alright, and now your report is ready to go. Please make sure you save this so that you don't lose any of your work. Just a quick add-on at the end of this video now. If your author name does not come up as your full name, okay, or comes up as a different name, if you go into File, you can edit the authors there. Okay, you can actually edit the authors there, add another author, or remove an author. So that's where you make that change. Thank you very much.